So sorry, but I'm not taking off my glass.
Lockyer takes a shot. It's low. He's got it. I think he's got it.
Merlin, are you going to speak?
But for me, it was a winner. David.
Well, I'm afraid it wasn't for me, Margaret.
Thank God you're here. Grandma's been raped.
On. Welcome back to On the Air Tonight, the only free-to-air something that reviews a something podcast show.
Weak as piss.
Run it.
Just like the biggest don't care attitude.
Just humming along to a song when you don't know the words. The only singing is Summer that does the CB Sabada.
I beg your pardon.
That'll do it. How are you, man?
I think a little bit less delirious than you.
That comes with the territory when you've been off for 2 weeks and your only outlet of sanity is recording a podcast.
Okay.
Some cunt decides to be sick. Takes that away
Drops
from
a
me.
C-bomb in the first 60 seconds.
We're off to a flyer.
You are listening to the number one podcast that reviews free-to-air content. He's Tom, the delirious one.
He's the guy who fills in the gaps.
Yep, all right. Doesn't have a name.
His name's Jacob, I think.
How are you, mate?
I'm all right.
We've had 2 weeks off the pod. Yeah, I'll put my hand up for that one for being...
It's not your fault. We all get sick.
Yeah, I should probably stop digging my face into storm drains looking for used needles, but...
Well, I was going to say I feel bad because you were sick, but it's hard to feel too bad because you probably did it to yourself.
Yeah, when you're falling asleep in your own pile of filth of pizza that you haven't
Holidays
cleaned off your
pizza.
bed sheets from 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, you and then not only you got sick, and then you probably got yourself to the point where you got sick, and I'd say that was your fault. But then the road to recovery,
Not really.
It just happened to you.
I woke up on a Sunday morning after having a pretty quiet weekend, and I had a really bad sore throat.
Yeah, okay.
I was like, "There's no way these pipes are going on the airwaves. I can't make it, Tom. Go on without me." And sure enough, you were like, "No, I can't do it without you, Jay."
You did not offer for a second
I was like,
for me to do the show
please,
without you.
You could do it without
Me and Jordan were talking after last episode, like, bro, should we just do it without that fucking bum?
You can do it without me, Jake. And no, that's what you can do it without me, Tom. And you're like, no. And you started crying and shitting yourself at the same time.
Yeah, I forgot that part. I think that when you were sick, there was a road to recovery and there was a road to perdition. And you chose perdition.
Did I?
Yeah, you could have gone, I'm going to take it easy. I'm going to have all nights in and I'm not going to drink or see any of my friends and I'm just going to recover.
Okay.
But instead you were like, should we go to the footy?
All right. So last time I offer you free tickets to the footy, you ungrateful ingrate.
I love that. I love that. It was an average game of footy. We saw Manly Seagulls versus the Rabbitohs. We saw the Manly get spanked.
Yeah, it didn't feel like a finals game, did it?
No, it felt like one team who really knew what they were doing against another who didn't decide to show up.
Compare that poor excuse of a code to AFL where even the regular season games feel palpable.
When the tickets are free, none of it matters.
I've seen more atmosphere at me nan's bingo matches, okay?
That's harsh. We had a plethora of Bunnies fans flipping off a plethora of Manly fans. So that was nice to be in the crossfire of.
Yeah, we were surrounded by Rabbitohs fans.
Yeah, and they were just fucking giving it to a 10, 20,000 fucking Manly fans.
It's like, how did you guys make it up from South Sydney? Aren't you meant to be in lockdown?
Yeah, it's just, those who reside in Brisbane. 2 Sydney teams battling it out in Queensland Heartland, Suncorp Stadium. But other than that, I've been good.
Yeah, what's been going on in your life? You've made the great trek to move house from New Farm to New Farm.
Yeah, it was.
It's been so tough.
It on paper it sounds really easy. In reality, my God, I haven't told you this story yet because I've been like, I'll save it for the pod.
No, you haven't uttered a word to me even when we were watching the show. You just didn't make eye contact, didn't want to speak a word. You're like, save it for the pod.
Save it for the pod.
All right, man. I was just trying to ask how your week's been, but I guess I'll just go fuck myself.
Yeah, we've seen each other at the coffee machine at work. Just said hello. I was like, save it for the pod.
Not even that, just a raise of the eyebrows. Just,
Save that. Save those eyebrow raises for the pod.
All right, then. Talk me through what's made this such an arduous journey for you to transition house to house.
Today is Tuesday, the 28th of September.
This will be coming out on the last day of September. It's already end of September.
It's fucked, eh? It's Tuesday, and it feels like I've been moving for 2 weeks because on Friday, I've been moving basically since Friday 7 a.m. It's fucked. It was just such a bad experience. I found another group of people that fall under the category of rental real estate agents.
Yep.
Of if my children decide to be this profession, they'll go up for adoption.
They're written off. You'd rather them be bank robbers or murderers or traders of any sorts of shape or form rather than them actually moving furniture.
Well, yes. Removalists are now in that category of rental real estate agents.
Yep.
Especially dodgy removalists. I'm not going to dox the guy. Well, I mean, I'll ask your opinion afterwards, but with great power comes great responsibility and
the power of the
power of the potatters.
The wide net we cast.
The power of the potatters is not to be used for evil.
So wide that we can't even sponsor a post anymore. we get comments taken down from our YouTube videos that get 30 views, and then our sponsored posts just get left in appeal.
It really does feel like the odds are stacked against us. Like the house doesn't want us to win. Anytime we try to, that's neither here nor there, but YouTube and Instagram are trying to keep us down.
This is guerrilla radio.
Yeah.
We're out there giving the people what they want, and the big man's just trying to keep us down.
Yeah, every time we get a little bit of traction, we're like, "Ooh, maybe that'd be a good one to put a bit of money behind." They're like, "Nope, that's too red hot."
Not gonna happen.
They grab us by the bootstraps and they're like, "You're not taking off this."
You're both going to waste away in an office before you ever have a fulfilling career
have
in the
your way,
industry.
YouTube. Have it your way.
All right, Zuck.
Yeah. But no, so
you moved from Friday 7 a.m.
Moved from Friday 7 a.m. They told me they were going to be there between 7 and 9. They get there at 7:15. This is starting from the very start. They get there at 7:15 and they call me at 6:30 and they're like, "We're going to be there in 15 minutes." And I'm like, I went to the football the night before, so I'm like, I'll shake off this hangover in like 5 minutes, I guess, and have a shower and be ready for them.
Had you packed all your stuff up already?
Yeah, everything was packed up, so I knew they were coming. A Kiwi guy and an Australian guy are the removalists. The Kiwi guy's a bit older. The Australian removalist is about our age.
Okay.
Firstly, the Australian guy goes to me, "Oh man, I've been here for I've only been with this company for 2 days." And I'm like,
The Aussie said that.
The Aussie said that. "I've been with this company for 2 days and I haven't met the boss. I got this job off Marketplace." It's like,
yikes. Is that how you sourced the removalist?
No, so my roommate sorted it out. It's just a company called X, which I'm not going to say, but they have a website and we just got a quote through the website.
Real professional of you not to dox them. At some point you will accidentally, but
when you hear the full extent of the story, I reckon you'll be in my corner going, "Dox this motherfucker.
All right.
Fuck this guy," but we'll get there. So professional start, the guy tells me, "I haven't met the boss and I've been here for 2 days and I got the job off Marketplace." He's also bitching about the other Kiwi removalist.
Right, the older fella.
To me. He's going, "Oh, yeah, I don't know who this guy is. They told me, you've got Tyrell today. You're working with Tyrell. He's been hit a few too many times on the head."
What?
I'm like, what the fuck is going on?
It's like, bro, it's 7 o'clock in your morning. You shouldn't be bagging at your colleague
to your customer
straight out of the gates.
Yeah, like be a united front. And I was just like, this is fucking weird, but okay. Next weird thing to happen, the Australian guy is on the phone to his boss talking about something, and then he's like,
so he finally got to talk to his boss.
Well, yeah, he's never met him in real life. He's just talked on the phone.
On the blower.
Never met him face to face. They're talking about something heated, and then the Aussie guy who's with me just goes, I'm going to put you onto the customer. Gives me the phone. I'm talking to the boss now, and he's like, "Hey, it's going to be an extra $200 to what we quoted you because the staircase is a bit narrow." I'm like,
"What?
Excuse me? What the fuck?" He's like, "Yeah, it's going to be an extra $100 per head for the removalist because it's a dangerous lift. It's not a straightforward move." I was like,
"This wasn't in your policy guidelines. Did you ever read the?"
Yeah, we have an email. When he quoted us, it says there is no hidden charges or extra costs for stairs.
It says that in the guidelines.
I have the email.
Okay.
It says that. I'm like, I'm not paying you an extra $200 on the day. Like, no. And he's like, all right, well, what can you afford?
What?
I'm like, are we in fucking Bali?
Yeah, is this isn't a negotiation for me to get across the border, mate?
Yeah, I'm like, why am I being shaken down over the phone by this fucking removalist? And I realized when I was telling a friend this story, that's when I should have just made them walk and just been like, this is fucked. You guys can leave and I'll get someone else to do it.
Yeah.
Like, it was all just shaping up to be so dicey. I was getting such a shit vibe from everything.
Yeah.
You're all bitching about each other. Like,
It's
fuck this.
not a good start, especially from someone who's been in the company 2 days and he's already like, the guy that I'm leaning on is heavily concussed and my boss is Giovanni from Pokemon. Just this enigmatic question mark of a character.
Who just fleeces people for money over the phone. So I'm like in the heat of the moment and I'm just like, oh, okay, mate, I'll do $50 a head per removalist for this thin stairwell and not straightforward move. He's like, okay, yep, that's fine, $100, $50 a head. I'm like, all right, cool. So the boys start moving. It's all good. Everything's going to plan. I'm downstairs with the Australian guy doing a load, just helping him lift some shit. The Kiwi guy's up in my apartment still. Me and the Aussie guy walk back up and we hear a crash. We're like, what the fuck was that? The fucking Kiwi guy has the guy who has been described by his friend as it's a knuckle dragger.
Knucklehead.
Yeah. Either pick your poison.
Bit of both.
Whether it's your head or dragon.
Just a big knuck.
He's a big knuckle, dude. He's a knucklehead. He has tried to lift my bed frame. So I've got a king bed frame, but it splits into two. So each one is probably a single and a half, like between a single and a queen. He's tried to lift that down the stairs on his own.
In one piece?
In one piece. It doesn't disassemble. It's just a big block.
Right, okay.
He's tried to lift that down the stairs without the help of anyone else. And he's slipped. And he's put a hole in the wall.
No.
And he's broken my bed frame. My bed frame has a drawer, and he's broken that.
Oh my god. Oh my god. Okay, so you've lost your bond.
Yep.
$100 out of the pocket already.
Yep.
Now you're out of a bed frame.
Yep. I'm like, what the fuck is going on here? And I didn't say what I said to him was, bro, are you okay? And he's like, yeah, I'm sweet, G. I just fell down the stairs. I've done this before.
Isn't the whole point of removalists like when you're lifting any bulky or heavy thing, fair enough if it's a box or if it's a small dryer or like a TV, something you can do by yourself. But the whole point of a removalist is like, hey, we're two strapping blokes. This is to make sure, I don't care what you can bench or whatever the case may be. Any bulky, awkward items, we lift together.
Yep. It's called two men in a truck for a reason. It's not fucking one guy in the...
That's not the name of the company, is it?
That's not the name of the company,
Okay.
but that is a name of a removalist company and a common term.
Yep.
It's not one guy in the apartment and one guy with in the car park while I'm fucking holding my dick and trying to direct the two and fighting off the boss.
Yeah.
That's not the name
Holding
of
you
the removalist
hostage.
company. Yeah. I was like, are you sweet? He's like, yeah, I'm all good. And I was like, okay, the bed frame's broken. Let's all acknowledge that you just did that. And there's a hole in the wall. Let's all acknowledge that. And they were like, yeah, bro, just like take photos of it. And you like talk to John, the boss, about, I've doxed his first name.
The most common name on the
John.
planet. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's fine.
His name's John. He's like, just talk to him about that when you discuss price at the end of this. It's like, sweet. We get everything out of my place, over to the new place. We're done in like 4 hours. All the meanwhile, the Kiwi guy and the Aussie guy start bitching to me even further about the boss and how he doesn't pay them properly and how he docks their pay. And he's like, yeah, this is John, bro. He doesn't treat us well and he's always calling us to do shit out of our own time and he doesn't pay us.
Okay, so it's beginning to be slave labor on top of every other sort of, everything that's gone against this John fellow.
Well, they're contractors.
Yep.
They're not employees. There's no insurance. They're contractors on ABNs.
So if they injure themselves, injure themselves, they're fucked.
They're fucked. And same with if they damage anything, the company's got no cover. So gets to invoice stage where I'm talking to John and we're discussing price. And I told him what happened and I was like, he broke the bed frame and he put a hole in the wall.
Yeah.
What are you going to do about it? And he's like, okay, I can give you 50% off the whole bill and you sort it out. I don't do anything. You sort out the hole in the wall and you fix your bed frame.
So you lose your bond.
Or I sort it out before they fucking, I get someone to patch it up.
Yeah.
It's my problem, basically. He's like, do half price and you sort out all of it and we go our separate ways. Or you pay full price and I'll get someone to patch up the hole and fix your bed frame. And I was like, motherfucker, like, what am I going to do here? I was like, if I do it the dodgy way and like take the half price, then it's up to me to organize this and organize that.
You're like, I don't want to deal with this anymore.
Yeah.
So you went out on a limb after them turning up not on time. Early is still better than late, but still not on time. Getting a shakedown within the first 15 minutes, learning that the most competent person on the job has only been doing it 2 days. The other experienced guy has 3 brain cells.
Yep. And he's dancing. He's got on like Kiwi beats and he's just like, he's dragging
Just
his feet
vibing.
so much. He's vibing, dude. He's put on like Bob Marley in the truck and he's like, oh, I'm keen for a barbecue later today. Hope we don't get another job. I'm like, can you go to another load? I'm paying you so much by the hour right now.
The one thing you've lifted, you have broken, and you've also put through the wall.
Yeah. And I'm like, I can see why they call you knocked in the head Terry or whatever the fuck it is. And I'm like, okay, dude. So
Simple Jack.
Yeah. I make a judgment call and I'm like, I don't want to do this the dodgy way because then it's my problem to fix everything. I'm going to pay you full price, but I'm not paying you that $100 that you tried to fleece me for before. I was like, you're fucking kidding yourself if you think I'm paying that $50 per head for the thin stairwell. It's like, you can get fucked. And he tried to charge me a 5% card surcharge fee of $40 on top of the whole thing. And I was like, you can shove that up your ass. I am doing a bank transfer.
Yeah.
And we went back and forth for a while. He's like, oh, yeah, okay, pay this much. And I was like, okay, I will. And I said, so now I paid you full price. Are you going to sort out the hole in the wall and the bed frame? And he's like, yeah, I'll sort that out. I'm like, we give the keys back on Monday. You've got a day to patch up that wall and then you can do my bed frame next week. And he's like, yeah, sweet. And I'm like, I want my bond back, so get a professional tradesperson to patch up the hole in the wall.
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, we'll get a professional. I'm still there with knocked on the head Terry. Knocked on the head Terry gets a call and it's John. This is 30 seconds after I get off the phone with John.
Yeah.
He's got on speakerphone and John says to him, mate, Terry, you've got to go around and fix that hole in the wall tomorrow and you've got to go around and fix the drawer yourself. And I was
This
like,
guy's a removalist.
this guy's a removalist. I don't want a DIY fucking mixed up putty trade, like fucking air tasker patch job on the wall.
Yeah, this guy just putting an inflated balloon in the wall and painting over it. Yeah.
He can't lift a bed frame down the stairs. He's not going to be able to patch up a wall and get the paint right to match everything.
Correct, yeah.
And sand it back.
He's clearly blind. He's probably colorblind as well. So he's
Yeah.
going to paint black where it is white.
Yes. I'm like, John had just told me, fucking, we are going to get a professional. I was like, this is no hope, whatever. Just like sent them on their way. I message him the next day and I'm like, how's it going with the repairs? This is Sunday. We give the keys back tomorrow.
What, bro?
Yeah, not Terry. I messaged John how the repair's going, and then he's like,
And this is Saturday, the day before that you give the keys back, right?
this is Sunday. We gave the keys back Monday morning.
Okay, yeah.
So I'm like, how's it going with the repairs? And he's like, we basically went back and forth for ages. He put Terry onto the phone with me because he was like, Terry, I'm going to read out the fucking text thread. You ready for this?
I'm curious to know if anything else transpired because you've obviously fast forwarded from the Friday where there was a huge ordeal. Did anything else happen over Friday, Saturday, moving all the other crap?
Not with John, no. So we...
Not with John. Was there another removalist involved?
No.
Am I getting ahead of myself?
There was other shit, but just with cleaners and stuff like that I'm not even going to go into.
Okay.
It's not even worth me touching on.
Yeah.
This is me condensing the story of what's happened.
Yeah, because we're already 30 minutes in.
That's how fucking... That's what I mean, dude. I'm like, I'm trying to keep this short. So I messaged...
This is what the people come to our podcast for. It's not free-to-air content. It's the most expensive content. Tom losing his bond and his bed frame.
Yeah.
Just to bring you a 15-minute anecdote.
So I literally can't afford a fucking streaming service anymore.
Even a free one.
I go, call me back, please, mate. He goes, how can I help? I'm out at the moment, won't be able to call. I said, it's Tom from yesterday. Where are you at with the repairs?
Is this Terry? Or is this John?
This is John,
Okay.
the big boss. He sends me a phone number, which is Terry's phone number. Here's the driver's number. Call him. he will get it fixed for you.
So this weak individual just didn't want to even have a conversation with
Yep.
you about it. Couldn't even like bring himself to lie to your face or
Yep.
just be like, hey man.
Yep. It wouldn't pick up the phone, would only text me. So I text him back, mate, you call him / organize a professional. He's your employee and your responsibility. I'm not chasing this up. We hand keys back tomorrow morning, get it sorted, and let me know when there is someone coming to fix it. He says, mate, you were supposed to pay $100 more yesterday, but you didn't. Call him and he will sort it out.
He's bringing up the $100 again.
The $100 that he tried to fleece me for.
When you already agreed, I'm not paying this.
Which I will side note, the Australian who's been there for 2 days told me, man, I was on the job yesterday and he does this to people. He did it to an old lady yesterday. We got to the job. He charged her an extra $200 for just, he'll make something up. It's
Yep.
a thin stairwell. There's an extra flight of stairs.
The doorway's narrow.
The doorway's narrow.
You got a dog in the front yard.
And if it's an old lady, she's just going to go, oh, that's how it is.
Oh, Mercury's in retrograde, love. I've got to
Yep.
charge you $500.
It's not a straightforward move. I've got to charge you an extra $200.
Shut up, you wimp.
So he does it to everyone, and I was just not one of the people who were like, no, motherfucker, absolutely not.
I'm getting closer and closer to saying Docs.
Yeah. Oh, you fucking wait.
Docs Martin right now.
So he says, call him and he will sort it out. He also says, I told you that there was a risk to bring things down before we started.
What?
So he's saying he warned me that the staircase was narrow, and it's the narrow staircase that caused Terry to fall down, not the fact that he tried to lift it on himself, on his own. I'm like, this is not the stairwell's fault. This is Terry's fault.
What kind of service do you provide where you're putting the blame onto the customer?
Literally. So
I'm not telling your employees how to do their job.
Yeah.
It's not if you're so concerned, come and be a site manager. This is
Yeah.
not my problem.
Literally, this is your problem. So I just send back a lol face, a lol crying emoji face, laughing so hard you're crying face. You know the one. I said, lol face, you're taking the piss. Don't try to blame a regular flight of stairs for your employee's mistake. If he didn't try to lift a whole bed frame on his own, it wouldn't have been an issue. You broke my property. Do the right thing and fix it. Run your business. Organize your employees. Look after your customers. Sort it out. Otherwise, I'm happy for me and 20 mates to leave honest Google reviews of what happened yesterday.
Oh, Tom's pulled off the gloves. That's it.
like-
I'm getting me and my mates on Google. Not that his ratings get any lower than 0.5 stars up to 500 ratings.
I was like, I have to threaten him with something. I have to let him know I have some sort of power in this fucking...
Have you paid him at this point?
I have paid him. So I paid him the...
Original amount
that we agreed on without the 100 and without the credit card surcharge.
Sure.
So...
What did he charge for the original?
600 in total.
600 for
He charged per hour, and it was for 3.5 hours plus a half-hour call-out fee.
Yeah, okay. So that's two people apartment, $600. Okay.
It was 300 each for me and my roommate. It's like, it's reasonable
I think
for a 4-hour job.
to put it in context, I think 3 people when I moved, it was 3 people with a full house of furniture that we moved, and it was like over a 4-hour period. I think it was like 500.
Yeah. So, yeah, it's... What are you going to do?
Just to put it in perspective, that you and your housemate couldn't have picked a worse removalist.
Yeah, this guy. And he's... Oh, I was about to say his name. I won't. Because
You already have.
His name is... No, that's in the name of the business.
John's Removalist.
No, it's not that. So after that text, he said, you can get it fixed and send me the bill. And your last message is enough for me to prove to Google the fake reviews. And they will be down straight away. So I'm not worried. You can get the damages fixed and send me the bill, and I'll sort out the bill.
Okay, dude.
Okay, dude. Okay, dude.
Your last text is enough to nullify your credibility.
I just sent back 13 lol emoji faces. Okay, dude.
What are you smacking? Can I get a bowl of it?
All this time, I can't get onto him still over the phone. We're having a text battle. Terry, the knocked on the head Terry calls me. He's like, oh, hey, bro, John's telling me to come over and fix your thing. And I'm like, Terry, knocked on the head Terry, no offense, but I don't want you to do it because I want my bomb back and I want it done properly. Thank you for the offer to come and do this on your Sunday, but tell your boss to get a professional. And
So you're backing out.
I was backing out of Terry doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was like, nah.
So in hindsight, you probably should have gone with the 50%.
Yes.
Yeah.
But then he saw a photo of the mark and he was like, I can't give you 50% because it's not a big enough hole. He's like, I'm not giving you half price for that.
Was it a big? Are we talking like fist or
Smaller than a fist.
okay? So like
Maybe like maybe like a pencil size, but like deep.
okay, oh like pencil wide.
Pencil wide.
So like 10 centimeters in diameter.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
It's decent enough, like big enough that a bond that when they do the exit report, they're gonna see it and charge
Like a
me for
like a
it.
DVD slot almost. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. And all this time I can't get onto John, and Taylor's called me, and I'm like, and he said, "Oh, John keeps calling me." So I said,
Taylor's the other removalist.
"Sorry, Taylor is knocked on the head, Terry." I've
Oh,
just doxed
right.
his real name.
Oh, okay. Doesn't matter.
Knocked on the head, Terry is he's called me, and I'm like, and he said that John keeps calling him. So I'm like, I text John, just had a call from Taylor. Sounds like you're available to chat. Feel free to call me back. And then he said, "Oh, I'm out. I can't talk." What did he say? So I said, "Be a man and talk to me on the phone. Don't get your workers to do your dirty work. I'm not talking to your employees. You're the boss." And then he sends back, "Do you want to meet face to face and sort it out?"
John says this.
John says this.
Is that a threat, bro?
I said back, "Sorry, is that a threat?"
You actually said that.
Yeah, I said that. I'm like, "Are you trying to fight your customer right now, dog? You fucking cowboy."
This is actually primo ACA content.
Dude, I was like,
This should go on a current affair.
do I need to go to a current affair
Yeah.
right now? I fucking should.
If I'll let you finish the story, but
Yeah.
if this had gone any worse and like he'd fleece you for an extra few $100s and the thing didn't get fixed, you didn't get your bond back, and your bed frame's in tatters, so you're sleeping on the floor, then
Probably grounds for ACA.
that's Grimshaw territory,
You-
baby.
You haven't heard the end of the story. It's once I get there, I think you might be like, fucking go to Tracy. He calls me then, and he goes, "Oh, what were you saying about being a man, about manning up?" And I was like, "Yeah, I was telling you to man up and face your mistakes and talk to me and not
Yeah.
get your employees to do it." And he was like, "Oh, okay, well that's what I'm doing now." Like being all tough on the phone, like he's like staunching me.
Okay, so this has gone from text to call.
This has gone to call. So he's
Yeah.
called me, yeah. And he's like, "What you saying about manning up, bro? This is what I'm doing. I'm manning up." I'm like, the fuck is going on here? Why are you staunching me over
You're
the phone?
threatening your customer.
Literally. I'm like, good, you manned up and spoke to me on the phone. Great. We go back and forth in that argument, and he eventually he goes, "We can meet up and sort this out face to face again on the phone." And I was like, "Is that a threat?" And he goes, "No, it's not a threat. What business do you own? What do you do for work? Because you're telling me how to do my job." And he goes, "Do you work for Southern Cross something?" Like, I was like,
He brought your work into
"Yep."
it.
So he's Googled me and threatened me with like, "I know where you work. I know where you live."
Wouldn't that be in the form that you provided, like saying what your
Well, I didn't do
occupation
it.
is?
My roommate did, and there was no forms in this fucking. This is so off the books. This fucking business. There's
Yeah.
nothing like.
He probably barely
nothing's
pays
done
taxes.
properly. He doesn't
Yeah.
pay taxes. He pays his guys cash. I paid him in a bank transfer.
Mm.
There's no invoice. So he's just Googled me and found where I work, and he's like, "Oh, you work at Southern Cross, whatever." I was like, "Yeah, I do. You've been Googling." And he goes, "Yeah, mate. You better watch out. You better watch out."
You better watch out.
Yep. And then he
You
hangs
better
up.
not cry. You better not pout. I'm telling you why.
John the
Gonna
Removalist.
gonna break more than just your bed frame.
Yeah, dude. I'm like, what the fuck just happened? What is going on? Why am I fighting my removalist? Then I text him straight after. I said, "Don't appreciate the threats over the phone, mate. Happy to get the cops involved if you want to go down that route."
Mm-hmm.
And then he sends back, "There were no threats given. Taylor will sort out the patch for you. If you don't want him to fix it, then blah, 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 blah."
Big squid ink, just
Yeah.
blow and swim away.
Yeah, fixing his paper trail, right? He's like, "There were no threats given. I don't know what you're talking
Yeah,
about."
nullified. Debunked. There was not a threat given. I was just saying, if you want to talk man to man, face to face, we can do that.
Ben Shapiro level fucking testosterone on this guy.
Yeah.
So anyway, I was like, whatever, I'm going to let the real estate deal with it. Fuck this guy. I'm just going to give the real estate his details and they can chase him up. They can fix it themselves if they want and send him the invoice. So the real estate, so the owner of the property went, "All right, we'll get a quote. It's $195 for a hire hubby to come around and fix this patch in the wall."
Oh, so the real estate were aware of the damage at this point.
I told them. So when I returned the keys on Monday morning, I said, "This is what happened. The removalist did it. Here's a photo of the damage. what do you want to do? Can you chase him up? And then I walk away and don't do anything. Like, surely there's a process here.
It's crazy in this situation. The real estate agent is actually the knight in shining armor. The amount you've spoken shit about property managers, and it's like they've come to it and be like, "Yeah, look, we'll fix that for $190."
Yeah, well, it's linking up the most fucking useless people in the world with the most corrupt people in the world and going amalgamation of minds, trying to figure that one out.
Do you want integrity but can't figure out their ass from their head,
Yeah.
or do you want fucking full devious? Just
United Nations of fucking not knowing what's going on in the world.
that is crooked.
So then they get a quote for $195, and they go, and I said to John, the removalist, "This is the quote. Pay the real estate." And he's like, "Nope." He was only willing to pay $95 of it because I still owed him $100.
Oh my God.
And I'm like, motherfucker, whatever. I was like, pay me. So the rental real estate agent is involved in this whole email thread between me and John going back. And they basically went, can you guys sort this out? We're going to deduct the $195 from your bond because that's just money we have there.
Yeah.
And then, Tom, it's up to you to chase up John.
Don't want to be part of this conversation anymore.
Yeah, they're like, I'm backing out. You guys are fucked. And I was like, okay.
Can't blame him for that maneuver.
Yeah, I was like, whatever. We enlisted the help of a fucking...
A slippery operator.
A slippery operator. Thank you for keeping me uncancelled.
We nearly got yourself cancelled the other week, but we'll get onto that in a moment.
So then I'm like, I called John today and I'm like, look, they're going to do the job for $195. They're going to take it out of my bond. You pay me the $195 and we'll forget about the bed frame. I'll fix that myself. And he's like, no, mate, I'm not paying $195 for the job. That's ridiculous. I'll pay you $100. And I was like, what I should have done is not paid the guy. I should have paid him half on the day and been like, you'll get the other half when
the job's done.
When the job's done. When the fucking bed is fixed and the wall is fixed.
Yeah.
Because I've got no leverage now. I've got nothing over him because I paid him his full money.
You've given him his fare, and he's just going to sail off into the sunset with it.
Yeah, and he doesn't have a depot that I can go to. He's like invisible online. There's nowhere I can physically go.
There's no address.
There's no address. He's just he's just a fleet of trucks.
I nearly doxed your housemate, but how did they find this person?
Well, yeah. Like
did she go down Silk Road and was like, give me the trickiest operator there is?
These guys are everywhere. There's so many dodgy ones, but I settle on $100 on the phone. I tried to negotiate. I was like, all right, pay me $150 and we'll call it even and forget about the bed frame. Even though you gave me my word that you'd fix the bed frame and the hole in the wall.
Yeah.
Whatever.
So I'm going to be out 45 in a bed frame.
Yeah. I'm like, whatever, let's settle on that. And he's like, no, mate, I'm going to pay you $100. That's it. I'll pay you $100. I'm like, there's nothing. I've got no leverage here. All right, pay me $100. And then he goes, mate, if I pay you $100, are you going to leave a Google review? And I was like, I don't know, mate. Haven't thought about if I'm going to leave a Google review yet. And he's like, all right, well, I need your word that if I pay you this $100 that you're not going to leave a Google review. And I was like, if your service is so good, why would you be concerned about the honest Google review that I'll leave?
And since when was word as bond in this conversation?
Literally, I'm like, oh, my word, like your word that you would fix the bed and that you would fix the wall. And he's like, oh, you're a better person than me, I guess.
Any negotiation at this point has been written on toilet paper, okay?
Yeah.
Any agreement that we've had, you may as well just take it with a grain of salt.
Literally, he's like, all right, if you give me my word that you don't leave a Google review, then this guy's threatened to bash me already, by the way. He's threatened to meet up and fucking fight me. He is like, if you give me your word that you won't leave a Google review, I'll pay you the $100. I was like, all right, yeah, I won't leave a Google review. Pay me the $100.
Fingers crossed the entire time.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Send him my bank details, and then the weirdest fucking end to this whole thing. I send him my bank details. He goes, I've sent you $195, the whole amount.
What?
I was like, all right, can you please send a screenshot of it? I haven't received it yet. He sends a screenshot, a proper fucking screenshot, $195 to my bank account.
Not photoshopped.
I don't know. I haven't received the money yet because it's got it's a new payee, so there's a security hold of 24 hours.
Okay. When did he pay you?
It does look legit though. This afternoon.
Okay, so this is
At 4
Tuesday.
o'clock. So-
So you're not
so
going
it
to receive it till like Thursday.
Well, 24 hours, it says.
Okay.
So maybe tomorrow I'll get it. Like tomorrow, I'll get it within 24 hours apparently, but I'm not like celebrating until I get it. I said, okay, it says there's a security hold of up to 24 hours. He says, okay, yeah, but you'll get it anyway. I said, fingers crossed. I said, why the change of heart? Why the 195 instead of the 100?
Yeah.
He goes, just the right thing to do. What?
This guy, yeah, I think
What the fuck is going on?
whatever he was popping, injecting, smoking, or schlopping that night or over the weekend, this guy was on a bender. We'll say that.
Yeah.
And he was clearly high off his face and just went, I'm just going to take this guy for a ride.
This is fuck with this guy.
This is going to be a free paycheck. And didn't realize that it was like, nope, this is the wrong person to deal with because you have a backbone.
Yeah, I will take this. I was Googling his address today to go up there and physically confront him. And I am not a violent person.
No.
But I will, if someone has like done something wrong, I will go there and be like, give me my fucking money.
It's a lot easier to duck phone calls and text messages
Yeah.
than it is to walk away from someone face to face.
Literally. What do you think I do for a job half the time? Sign this contract. Just go to people's fucking businesses.
It's the right thing to do. What would you know about the right thing to do, mate?
What a psycho little like
Weasel.
crazy backflip though. To fight so hard to not pay the 195 that whole time and then just go like to just pay 100 and then at the end of it go, I paid 195. It's just the right thing to do. It's like this little clip like Machiavellian like ooh. It's like, are you a fucking Bond villain? Why are you just toying with me?
Yeah, marionette.
Yeah, it's like, what the fuck? Just fucking be I could understand him more if he was just a total douchebag
Yep.
and a money-hungry cunt, but then at the end of it, he's like, it's just the right thing to do.
I'm like,
who's this villain?
the thing that baffles me the most about these stories. Also, I love that we've just become the #1 reviewing of service podcast. I think if we ever run out of free-to-air content, we should transition to Nightmare Service.
Yeah, rebrand as, alternative title, The Karens.
The Karens.
The Karens.
Yep. I want to speak to the
couple of
manager.
Karens. I want to speak to the manager.
Yep. I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. For this guy, like, I feel like either of us in this situation, this might be because we're just decent human beings. If I was in any sort of service, I'm in customer service, but if I was in any sort of service where I was, people were giving me money to do a certain thing, my first and foremost priority would be doing the job.
Yep.
If I fuck up, it would be making sure I resolve it properly so that this never comes back to bite me in the ass, because at the end of the day, word of mouth is the best way to spread business.
Absolutely.
Especially in removalists or any sort of service where you've got contractors and small business where he's clearly not advertising online or anything like that.
No.
Well, he's obviously doing a little bit of advertising if your housemate found him, but to just completely write that off and go, nah, I've got your money. See you, dude.
It's like, how is that sustainable? How do you treat people like this and be a business still?
This isn't a drug deal. This isn't me buying a handgun. This is like, it's not Breaking Bad where you can give me a faulty item and then like, I'm not going to go to the police about it.
Literally. I was like, I was calling the ACCC today and they don't fucking answer any calls either. Ironically, like the people who control customer service.
Another crook organization.
Yeah, another corrupt. Our phones are too busy. It's like,
This conspiracy goes deep, Mr. Farrelly.
what do you do? Who do you go to when the ACCC service is bad, you know, when you're trying to get consumer advice about the ACCC? It's like the therapist, you know?
God damn, dude.
So
what do you rate?
his rating is 4.3 stars
How is he above a 4?
because they're all fake reviews. I guarantee it. There's a few honest ones that he hasn't been able to get rid of that
Yep.
are like the same story that I got. They
Okay.
charge them extra. They drag their feet, all that bullshit. They didn't take care of the furniture. They broke shit.
How many reviews does he have?
Like 500.
What?
So no way. He's definitely got like 300 fake ones. He's got like 300 fake ones and then like a bunch of real ones that he can't get rid of.
Is this guy smart enough to have 300 burner accounts?
I don't know how they do it. It's like, I don't know. And on his website, it's all 5-star Google reviews. But then you go to like the Google review page of Google reviews.
You can remove them from your
and that's
website.
what- of course, yeah.
Yeah.
It's your website is your control. You go to Google to find out the honest ones. If that $195 goes through, do I still leave a Google review and light him up?
That's completely up to you. I mean, I know what I'd do in that circumstance.
I gave him my word that I would not.
Yeah. See, like that's the thing is, do you take the high road and go, I'm not going to stoop down to your level? Because he's clearly shitting britches going, no, I've got to give him his money in the hope that he doesn't leave a review. Because
That's why he sent me the full amount, right? Because he's like, he could hear it in my voice that I was like, I'm going to leave you a Google review. He could hear that in my voice. So he sent me the $195 in hope that I would not.
Yeah.
Now that I've got the money that I'm owed, that was his mistake.
What is that thinking though? Just going, don't care. Like when you mention the idea of leaving a bad review, he's just like, nah, don't care.
Dude, it was like blackmail at the end. His whole attitude at the end was, he literally said to me,
so it's a real, I see you work in media. It'd be a real shame if things went badly for you.
yep. And he literally said to me, well, what are you going to do about it? He literally said that to me. He's like, I said, pay me my $195. He said, or what? And I said, what about my...
Is this over phone call?
This is over the phone.
Yeah,
And he goes, or what? And I'm like, I guess you have to deal with the fact that you're a terrible businessman and a piece of shit. Like, because I have no leverage left. He knows that.
Yeah.
And I'm like, we'll forget about the bed frame that you said you'd fix. But before that, I was like, you still have to fix my bed frame. And he's like, no, it's fine.
If you wanted to die on the hill, you could have been like, well, I'll get my solicitor involved.
Yeah. Get a lawyer involved, go to the ACCC.
Yeah.
You know, that like I'm sure he would call my bluff and be like, you can't be fucked.
And yeah, and it's like, are you really going to go down that path for a few $100s?
Yeah. But just to say, I'm going to sort out the hole in the wall and I'm going to sort out your bed frame, and then to completely backflip on it. Like, I can't handle people I can't understand someone who just like gives their word so wholeheartedly and then is like, no, I just fucked you over to get your money.
Man,
That's all I did.
I thought I had a bad week with a sore throat and a cold.
You can see how much this has consumed me, hey? Like,
I was wondering why you were in such a grouchy mood this afternoon. I was like, there's something wrong with like some of the comments you're making during the show we're watching, which we'll get onto. I swear to our listeners, we will get onto the show momentarily. But Tom was not him. You weren't in a bad mood, but you weren't you.
I wasn't myself.
Yeah.
And I've had some like, not comments from work, but I just know over like today and yesterday, I've just been so fucking grumpy at work. And I know people have been like, what the fuck is wrong? What's his problem? And I'm like, I don't want to fucking talk about it.
Well, I'm glad you're able to vent the story in full detail, or at least the filtered version of it, where you're not doxing people and not giving the extended version. Because I'm sure there was, as you said, there was more issues with the cleaners, with the bond clean, which probably is another element to the story. But at the end of the day,
There's
man,
a lot going on.
My commiserations.
Thank you, sir. And I'm glad we got through it. I
did.
think, you know, there's a point where you get something off your chest. You tell a story to get it off your chest and then you feel better. I've told that same story like 10 times to like all different people, family and friends.
Yep.
It gets to a point where it's not getting off your chest anymore. It's actually getting you more worked up.
You're getting frustrated by like, I don't want to actually talk about this. Yeah.
Putting the weight back on your chest.
Yep.
It's no longer getting it off. So,
but now you got your performing hat on.
now it's out there in the ether, and it's been said once, and that can then be consumed and disseminated to countless people.
Wait till John gets his hands on this podcast.
Yeah. If someone's like, how did moving go, Tom? I'll be like, episode 39 of On the Air Tonight. That's how moving went.
Listen to the first 40 minutes, all right? You'll get through it.
Sorry to consume half the episode.
No, don't
be. I apologize.
This is I think people come to this show partially for free to air content, but I'd say mostly for our random tangents that we go on. So
for our life ills.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wouldn't say it was the funniest story. I'd say it was sorry. Some people might laugh at this.
You can't deny the passion. It's something I care about. That's affected my mental health and my well-being.
You're not wrong.
We're in Trademark TX Studios. Surely this is the format.
This is the if you can't do it here, where can you do it?
If you don't like me at my worst, you don't deserve me at my best.
Okay.
All right. Okay, chill.
All right.
I'm talking to my potatis right now. If you can't handle me complaining about my removalist, you don't deserve me laughing about holy moly.
What is that? Is that Ziz? Is that Ziz who said that, bro?
Sure, dude. I don't care what dead bodybuilders fucking said it. I said it now.
Hey, whoa. You can talk until the cows come home about removalists and real estate agents. Don't talk about the demigod like that.
We don't. So my final question to wrap that whole thing up, do I dox him? Do I say the name of the company?
I'd say take the high road.
Okay. The last thing I need is a defamation lawsuit on my hands.
Put it like...
I don't need that in my life.
one of the dumbest quotes I've ever heard in my life, and I've said it multiple times in my life.
Did Ziz say it?
I don't think so.
Okay.
It's better to regret something that you did than regret something that you didn't do.
It's better to regret something that you did than regret something that you didn't do.
Correct.
Why?
Well, I mean, if it's say the one that got away, the woman who you always wanted to ask out, but instead of asking her out, you just
Got it.
You wallowed in your self-pity, and then she ended up getting married and having kids. It's like, what could have happened? I'd rather just regret asking her and getting rejected.
It's like the now you know.
Now, exactly right. You leave no stone unturned.
Yeah.
In this circumstance, leave that stone turned. Leave it unscathed, untouched at this point, because
Leave it unturned.
correct.
Yeah. That saying doesn't apply to, I wonder what would happen if I doxed my removalist on the podcast.
That is correct. This is the one circumstance where I feel like in a week, a month, a year, whatever happens with this podcast, whatever happens down the line, you will feel happier that you said the names John and Terry, but it didn't go any further than that.
It's okay to die wondering in this situation.
Correct.
To die wondering, I wonder what would happen if I doxed the removalist John.
Yeah.
It's okay to not know.
Yeah.
Okay.
Curiosity will kill this cat.
Okay. Well, I feel better now. I won't dox him. I feel better.
I'm glad you do, and I'm glad you could join us on the air tonight.
journey.
Welcome to episode 39.
Oh my God, no way.
What is it?
We are not at 51 minutes.
Maybe.
We are not at 51 minutes.
People are like, do these guys still review television, or?
Did we press the record button earlier? Was that much fucking right?
You went on for at least 40, bro. Like 30 to 40.
I was like, this intro will be over soon.
But listen, this is what we're here. We are a platform where you can vent whatever's on your mind, okay? And that goes for our listeners. If you have something that you do want to vent, if there's something that you do want to say, we'd love to hear it. Leave a comment on our YouTube, one of our YouTube videos. Subscribe to the channel. Leave a comment on one of our Instagram posts so we can hear from you and respond to you and read you out in one of the many reviews like this one.
Review on episode 37, Couples Therapy, from one Matilda Sweeney.
That's a dox we can accept.
Yep. Not a dox because it's her actual, she doesn't have a
alias
that we are not using.
No pseudonym.
Matilda Sweeney says, yeah, 11 out of 10 stars, a nice podcast or whatever. But why the fuck does Lance eat raw oats and raw carrot and fucking water?
Nothing wrong with raw carrots. It's raw oats that's got me irked, Till.
It's all of it together that's a lot.
Yep.
Pap, I award you no stars and may God have mercy on your soul.
Very good quote from one Billy Madison.
I thought it was an Adam Sandler quote.
It was, it's from Billy Madison right at the end.
Yeah. And then he also says, and then follow-up comment, I'm sorry, baby, I didn't mean that. I love your podcast.
Back-to-back Billy Madison quotes.
I thought
round of applause for Matilda Sweeney, ladies and gentlemen, also known as
Straight Edge Sweens.
Klitzy Poondexter.
Klitzy Poondexter.
Yep.
We should have just gone with that.
Shout out to her. She's down in lockdown in Melbourne at the moment.
Hope this makes your day too.
Yeah, and in full retort, I do have a review here from one part Australian, part Chinese, smoked paprika. It's Lance Farrelly.
Of course.
That's just what he's known as now.
It's full name.
Full docs. Full ducks.
He's got 4 nicknames.
Wow. An extra voice. This is in reference to episode 38 with our good friend Jordan Liner. So we got a lot of traction for that one. So if you do want to, if you do want to have the big man back, if you've gotten through this point to the episode, if you want him back, let us know. We can see if we can get him into our busy schedule.
Yeah, we'll see if he has any funny removalist stories that take up 51 minutes.
Plenty.
I'm sure he has some.
Yeah. Wow, an extra voice on OTAT, but still a 5-star episode for Anthony Bourdain's cooking/travel show, Parts Unknown. Another great choice. I'd never really heard of Bourdain, but watched the episode reviews and loved it. Now I have 12 seasons to get through. Groan. Ugh. It's fine. Pap, he's dead. He's not making any more content. This isn't a case of him outrunning you, okay? You could watch one episode a year for the rest of your life and you'd still catch up.
Yeah, there's no more being added.
I also have seasons of couples therapy to get through. The boys continued to uncover rare gems amongst the dross of free-to-air content. I said that right? Dross?
Yeah. How's it spelled?
DROSS.
Okay. Yeah, I think so.
Never heard that word.
Dross. I don't have. Dad's good for a vocab check. It's
Okay.
like, okay.
Thank you, Lance.
Right, dross.
Make me dance with my tongue. The dross of free-to-air content. A public service indeed. Soon I'll have to quit my job to have enough time to watch everything the lads dig up. ... Peace out.
Peace out.
Peace out, Lance. Woo!
Back with another one.
That is so good.
Peace out, homie. Thank you so much, Dad. Thank you so much, Tilly.
Yeah.
If you want to be mentioned, if you want to be read out live on air with the boys,
Yeah.
you know what you need to do. Go to Apple Podcasts.
Go to Apple Podcasts. Go to YouTube, subscribe, and leave a comment on one of our channels. We also take it as an application service, application program. So if you do want to apply to be a guest, be a producer, take it to the next level, be a sponsor on the show, we're accepting. There is no holds barred on the show. Okay.
How do you think Jordan Liner got on the mic? Do you think he just walked?
Please. I'm so close to the end. I need something in my life.
I'll write a review. I'll do anything. I'll make it rhyme. I'll use alliteration.
I'll wax poetic, please.
I was on a plane or something, and then there were people next to me, and Mate Simulator. It's like, all right, dude, you can come on the show.
Just stop crying and farting.
Stop giving me free drinks at your workplace. You can come on the pod, dude. You don't have to go to that extent. You don't have to grovel. But the point is, the guy didn't just walk through the doors. He put the work in. He lifted. He did the big lift day after day after day. And look where it got him.
The point is that if you reach out for the hand of OTAT, we will reach back. We are not going to leave you naked and afraid.
Before we do Naked and Afraid, just quickly.
Tom! That was a better segue than the two-wheeler, mate.
No, there is one. It's been 2 weeks, so there is just one other thing that I want to touch on.
You have taken the floor for 45 minutes, but
Just one other thing that I want to touch on. The Louis C.K. segment that we uploaded last week.
okay, this is worth touching on.
Thank you. We have to, not like the other 50 minutes. Thanks, dude. Thanks for the support, co-host.
I enjoyed it.
It's all right. You're editing. You can chop it up however you like.
I'm just going to cut the whole thing.
We start now.
Yeah.
No, we uploaded an episode last week where we were discussing sad celebrity deaths.
In reference to episode 38, Anthony
Bourdain's
Bourdain's Parts Unknown with our good friend Jordan Liner.
Check the Instagram page. There's a video up there that sent waves through the free-to-wear community.
A little bit of a ripple effect.
Through the podcast community, through the Louis C.K. community.
A little bit of a splash in the kiddie pool.
It was tidal waves.
All right.
I was riding a tidal wave.
Wouldn't call it El Nino or a tsunami by any means.
I was riding a fucking wave of endorphins for sure. All those likes and views coming in. Oh my God. Is that Tom over there from El Nino? Celebrity.
All right.
Get him down easy.
All right. Someone's head's getting way too big for 40 subscribers.
But we ripped. We tore it up, and this video that went out, and the response was the reception was about 50-50 as far as, Tom, I'm in your corner, and I see exactly where you're coming from, as far as it was really sad when Louis C.K. got Me Too'd.
Yep.
I want to say the other half, but I'm going to be honest and say probably the 80%.
80% of people.
80% were like, you're a freak. And that's a fucked up take.
It's funny because I think I was the one sitting on the fence going, that's just wrong. I wasn't going
easy to do that.
I wasn't going, hey, that's so inappropriate.
Yeah.
I was just going, that's a weak comparison. Trying to compare someone's loss of their career because they've been Me Too'd to the death of someone who's close to our hearts.
Well, this is what I want to clean up. This is what I want to clear up.
Sure. So how many people came to you?
I'm going to say in total maybe 10.
10 people.
In total. As far as in real life, people who saw it and then people who just responded in the DMs.
Sure.
As I said, tidal waves through the community, 10 responses. I would say it'd be about 80-20, Tom, I'm in your corner. 20% I'm in your corner, 80% you're a freak.
Yeah.
What the fuck is going on?
So did you cop any like real criticism?
No, it was more just like, holy shit, that's hilarious and you're going to get cancelled one day. But what I wanted to clear up was, I'm not sad that he got caught. And I don't think he should have kept getting away with it. I'm not a Me Too sympathizer.
Okay.
I'm heartbroken that he was doing it in the first place. I don't condone the activity of a Louis C.K. or a Harvey Weinstein.
Yep.
I'm saying it's life-shattering and heartbreaking when who you thought was a good man turns out to be a creepy sex fiend. That part of it's sad.
Sure.
Not the fact that he got caught. That's why I think some people were like, oh, dude, what are you sad that Harvey Weinstein raped women and he couldn't keep producing films? No. That's not it. It's I'm sad that he's a freak. I'm glad that he got exposed, but it sucks because that man who I used to hold up to a pedestal, I can't do anymore.
It's probably the equivalent, like the adult equivalent of finding out that Santa's not real. This person you held on a pedestal, by the way, appreciate it, but there's no need to explain yourself.
I don't know, dude. If you saw the reception I was getting.
As the person who often enjoys, we'll say, a healthy debate with you, littered with obscenities and swears.
Oh, I know you don't give a fuck.
No, what I'm saying is that, like, I hear what you're saying, that, like, there's the, that it is closer to, like, seeing someone who you idolize for so long, your perception of them is completely ruined.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's tough. And thank you for understanding.
It is tough because at the end of the day, he's a dirtbag.
Yeah.
And there's
no getting around it.
It's a very unsympathetic position to take where you're willing to go, I'm heartbroken that I've lost this person in my life.
Yeah. It's
when it's like this guy did it to himself.
Some would say it's bold.
Yeah.
Is that what you're trying to say? That I'm a bold guy?
I wouldn't say that. I'd say the opinion that you're taking, I see where you're coming from.
Yeah.
I don't think there's any need for you to be like, hey, listen, I'm not sad that he's not making content anymore. I'm sad, or like I'm sad that he's like you're disappointed in him as much as you are sad.
I'm disappointed in the man's actions. You know what I find? Because I moved into the new place, I don't have internet.
I did notice that. I saw the Insta story of you playing some 64.
Yeah, pulled out the Nintendo because I'm so fucking bored and there's no internet.
Playing Mario Party by yourself.
Mario Kart, even sadder. I said that to the
Woo!
Oh, I won again.
Yeah, mushroom cup on 150cc again.
As Yoshi. Oh my god, I'm faster than everyone else.
Crazy. I did the Wario Stadium jump again.
I sent that to the boys chat. I was like, Mario Kart 64 and your own saddle based.
This is so sad. It's like, at what point were you playing that? Were you tempted to text the most recent contact in your phone, John, and be like, hey, water under the bridge, you want to come play some kart?
Yeah, John Removalist. Let's call it an even debt. Let's call it a dead debt and come for you want a beer? No, so once I got sick of N64 and being a sad guy, flicked over to free to air.
Sure.
Nothing else to do.
Crazy. You love free to air.
Who would have thunk
Do it in your off time as well, eh?
It just made me think, The Secret Life of Pets 2 happened to be on.
Ah.
The Secret Life of Pets 1, you know who the voice of the main dog is in that?
Is it Patton Oswalt or?
It's Louis C.K.
Oh, okay.
The Secret Life of Pets 1.
Crazy. And they still have it on TV.
No,
that's number 2 on TV.
They had number 2 on.
Who's the voice of the main dog in number 2?
Patton Oswalt.
It is Patton. Okay.
Yeah, in the second one.
I haven't even seen it. That was a shot in the dark. Like,
oh, really?
Yeah.
He's a cartoony voice.
Very much so.
But
without being Me Too'd.
Yeah, I was just watching it and I was like, that doesn't sound like Louis. And I've seen bits of the first one and I know that dog was voiced by Louis.
It's crazy because he's not animated at all. If anything, he's boring.
Yeah, he's like, meh.
Yeah.
But
he's a depressed, old, bald, fat, white guy.
You're not a happy Max cartoon dog.
Yeah, middle-aged divorcee who masturbates in front of other people to get his socks off.
But it's funny because Patton Oswalt sounds nothing like Louis. Like you hear the two voices, like they're not even close. So kids would have watched the first film, gotten to know Max, probably watched it again and again and again.
Yep.
Became their favorite film on DVD. Burnt the disc out. They go to see Secret Life of Pets 2. They're like, Mommy, why does Max sound different? And parents would have had to have some very uncomfortable situations. Like, well, honey, there was this thing called the Me Too movement. So did the voice of Max in the first
Did Secret
one.
Life of Pets 2 come out around the same time? Or like, was it
came out between, so it was Secret Life of Pets 1, then Louis masturbates in front of women, then Secret Life of Pets 2.
Okay, so it wasn't taking talent in a different direction or not being
No.
able to afford Louis. You're telling me Secret Life of Pets had the integrity to go, even though you can't see this guy, we're not going to have him on.
They dropped him because he was a disgraced masturbator. So I'm saying parents would have had to explain that Louis, their favorite voice of Max the dog in the first one, masturbated in front of women, and that's why he now sounds different.
Crazy.
What are you going to do, hey? Glad I'm not a dad.
Don't get internet. Just keep watching free-to-air content.
Keep watching SLOP2.
So much like your hero that you saw fallen and ashamed, leaving his victims naked and afraid, that was that content that we watched this week, ladies and gentlemen.
Just before we get into that,
Are you
just
serious?
before we get into Naked and Afraid,
I don't even want to look at the timer, and I'm not going to ask you to. What?
I'm not going to tell you what it is.
What?
It's been 2 weeks. You know what's fucked up about this is still on actually related to the Louis conversation we had last week.
Still going on about Louis.
It's not about Louis, it's about that conversation and celebrity deaths.
You are flogging a dead horse.
Celebrity deaths. Guess who died probably while we were having that conversation?
Oh shit, that's right. Yeah, your boy, someone that actually would have been relevant to the conversation 6 hours after the fact. Norm Macdonald.
Norm Macdonald at 61 died when we were talking about sad celebrity deaths. And he's literally probably like top 4 sad celebrity deaths for me. You?
It's pretty sad. I will admit that I never really watched Norm.
Okay.
Like, as far as comedians go, I think I grew up watching, like, Carl Barron was my first real introduction into yeah, I know. I watched a lot of Aussie comedians because I grew up with the Melbourne Gala Fest. Probably my favorite comedian is Bill Burr. I'm trying to remember the other guy's name. Bo Burnham.
Burnham's
I
good.
enjoy a lot.
But I feel like you got into Norm post-death, as a lot of people have.
I still haven't watched much content. The only things I've
okay.
seen is what you've suggested. I knew the magnitude or the gravity that he had.
Yeah.
Being one of the world's most favorite comedians, being the residential comedian on Letterman for, 20 years, 15 years?
Well, he did SNL.
SNL.
He did the weekend update on SNL for close to 10 years, I think. And they fired him because he wouldn't stop making OJ jokes.
Yeah.
He's like the most base dude you've ever. They were like, it's the weekend update job on SNL in the 90s before the internet was around. Like, there's like 3 jobs in comedy back then, and that's like the highest paying one. And he was like, yeah, fuck it, I'll walk away from it. I want to keep making OJ jokes.
Do you know, it is crazy that it happened literally the night of us having that conversation.
Yeah. We woke up the next day to the news.
The tabloids would have you believe it was cancer. You know what it was? Broken heart, dude.
Because
one of his fans was like, you know what the saddest demise is? It's Louis' job.
yeah.
And then Norm was just like, oh, what a dick. Broken heart.
I'm dying over here of cancer, dude. You don't think it's going to be sad when I die?
Let me show you.
Yeah, I'm going to get he's like, I'm going to get a shout out at least on OTAT next week from this death.
And then I decided to chuck a sickie.
Yeah. It's like, I guess I'll have to wait a week. Was it worth it, Norm?
And he's been buried for probably 10 days now, and you had to drag his bones into this episode.
Well, he's not going to not get mentioned. He battled for 9 years with cancer and didn't tell anyone.
Yeah, that's the crazy thing that I heard about it. Is that he just didn't tell a soul.
Like Conan, all of his old like comedy cronies, like no one knew. Like only his immediate family knew. And he has like, when you go back and listen through his catalog, he has jokes about like, it's not brave to tell people you've got cancer. He has this bit about like the bravest thing. It's not even a bit. I think it's just him talking candidly.
Yeah.
He's like, the bravest thing you could do is basically what Woody Harrelson does in 3 Billboards, which is, you know, you have cancer. You don't tell anyone. You go out in the yard and you shoot yourself in the head. You don't let your wife tend to you. Yeah, very bleak.
Yeah.
But you don't have your family and your wife tend to you for 10 years for 5 years while you die and put all the energy into you. It's like, that's not brave. That's cowardice. It's very bleak.
The Walter White maneuver.
It is, yeah.
I'm not going to tell my family that I've got terminal cancer until a month into me knowing.
Yeah. Yeah, he's like, I'm going to go out like a fucking king. And your memory of me is going to be me with all my hair.
Because it was probably one of those situations where, yeah, he was such a proud person that I think he knew that if people had found out or that he shared with the world that he was going to die, that he was sick, straight away it puts like an asterisk over you.
Yeah.
as far as not saying that people are going to force laughter or anything, but like people would have gone to your shows going, oh, this is probably going to be the last time I see him, or I got to laugh at his jokes. Like this is, you know, it's more than just
He's the sick comic.
yeah.
Remember Richard Pryor, dude? Like
I do know of Richard Pryor.
same. I only like he was before our time. I only know the name.
Him and Gene Wilder, dynamic duo.
Right. Okay. Only thing that Richard Pryor is remembered for is the sick comic. Like Pryor in his last years was like ill.
Yeah.
Like I think it was cancer. I'm not sure, but like that's what happens when you tell people in show business. It's like, yeah. So he just didn't want anyone to know. Yeah. He's like going out like a fucking king.
Remembered as a comedian, not as a sick comic.
Yeah. And it was like 61. Like the whole world is surprised, but. Anyway, I just thought it was worth acknowledging the man because if you're not familiar with Norm Macdonald, one of the GOATs, up there with your Bill Burrs.
It shows a certain level of perseverance and resilience to be able to have that career and not tell anyone. Yeah, it takes a certain level of perseverance and resilience to go on the show that we watched this evening. Finally, ladies and gentlemen, after the third attempt at the segue, I'm going to be talking about Naked and Afraid. Tom, you have used up all your words tonight, my friend.
I just had 8 other things that I wanted to talk about.
Go on then. What else are you got to bring up, hey? What do the bond cleaners do to you, Tom?
Yeah, so at the coffee machine today, I had this chat with the cleaner.
They're out of oat milk at the barista.
And then he says to me, we're going to have to get back to you next week. No, we can talk about Naked and Afraid.
Do you want to give a quick... I mean, you've been on fire tonight, Tom. So do you want to give a quick synopsis on Naked and Afraid?
Naked and Afraid is basically alone, but they take their clothes off.
Mm-hmm. Alone, but they're not alone. It's actually a partnership.
Yeah, remember the show we did Alone where they went out into the bush and they had to survive? This is that, but with one other person and they're naked.
That's exactly right. So
that's how they pitched it on Shark Tank.
It's that was the elevator pitch. And Mark Cuban was like, where do I stand?
Where do I stand?
So it's a show coming to you on 9 now. You can stream a handful of episodes. I think we watched the pilot, which is episode 1.
No, we watched season 5.
Season 5, episode 1. Yep. The pilot of season 5.
The pilot of season 5. Every season has its own pilot.
Really going to correct me after the soliloquies you've been on?
You in any place to correct anyone.
How dare you? I've tried to transition to the show after fucking an hour and a half. This is going to be a nightmare to edit.
Fuck me, right? I'll just shut up over here, dude. I won't say anything.
No, give me more, please. Can you just strip off and be naked? Because I'm fucking afraid of you right now after hearing how staunch you are. Naked and Afraid, streaming on 9 now. It's a man and a woman who are total strangers are given the challenge of surviving the wilderness for 21 days without anything, including their clothes. So 2 complete strangers dropped in the wilderness. In this one, they were dropped in Chacahua,
Mexico.
Chacahua, Mexico. They're on the southern Gulf of Mexico.
Chacahua, but in like a Jersey accent. She was a hooah. Chacahua.
A Chacahua?
Yeah.
Chacahoo? Chacawen?
Chacahua.
Chacahua. Sounds like a fucking BCF brand.
Chacahua. It looked hot. It looked hot in Chacahua.
It was, they said it got up to 130 degrees, or it felt like 130 degrees Fahrenheit, which for you, rest of the world, that's not on the imperial system. Oh, wait, it is the imperial system, isn't it?
I don't know. It's a bit too...
Metric.
Yeah.
People are on the metric system. That's 55 degrees. Yeah.
That's what they were walking around in.
That's what it felt like, because it was 130 Fahrenheit, or I think it felt like 130 Fahrenheit. I think it was like 110 and then like 90% humidity. So basically think about Suncorp Stadium in the middle of, actually I don't play cricket at Suncorp, but the bloody Gabba. The Gabba on Boxing Day, mate. That's where they were for 21 days.
Similar endurance test.
Yeah.
A 21-day test. That's what they were doing.
Oh, I've got to watch cricket for 5 days.
Without a result, probably.
Can I just get naked with a stranger in the Gulf of Mexico?
What's more boring?
So we won't go into it too much, but what were your thoughts on this show, Tom?
I thought the fact that they were naked added nothing.
Nothing.
It literally, there was no point. If the show would have existed the exact same way if they were wearing clothes.
Yeah.
Nothing would have changed.
Because obviously if you're watching those shows, I think there's a show on SBS called Adam Met Eve. I don't know if you've heard of that.
Okay, yep.
Not so much a similar concept where like a naked guy and a naked girl are dropped on an island, and they got to see if it's more like
It's a dating.
it's
thing.
like Maths meets Naked and Afraid.
Yeah, it's like dating. It's like dating. It's Married at First Sight, but naked.
Yeah.
Which is not what this is.
No, this is pure survival. So two strangers are dropped in front of each other. Our two strangers on this episode were John and Gwen.
God,
Which
I didn't know her name until now.
you do now.
That's so fitting.
Gwen, the ex-cop. So they were given this fucking weird survival rating when they're like at the start of the episode, they give the introduction. John's like this fit freak who loves exercising. Gwen's this ex-cop that had to retire because she like sustained an injury on her left arm and now she's paralyzed in her left arm.
Yeah, another cop car hit her on the job, and now she's lost sensitivity in one of her arms. She's like, I'm not going to let that stop me. I have to prove to myself and everyone else that I can still survive on an island for 21 days.
No one challenged you and said that you couldn't get naked, love.
Literally, when people are like, I've got to prove to everyone else, it's like, no one else gives a fuck.
No.
This is about you, dude.
So they gave her, I don't know how they got this rating system, but they had this perimeter survivor rating, or PSR.
Oh, PSR.
Oh yeah, PSR. Yeah.
Yeah.
I did want to Google it to see exactly how they came across this, but I think it's because she lives in Alaska and there's opening shots of her cutting firewood. So I guess she does like wilderness stuff, or lives in a remote area where they're just like, yeah.
Could have fooled me.
So they gave her a 6.9.
Yes.
They gave the fitness freak that basically, to cut a long story short, he carried the whole episode because Gwen gets injured very early on. She literally stubs her toe.
So she's now got a stump for a toe and a bung arm that she can't move.
Yep.
And John got a lower PSR.
6.7.
A 6.7, 0.2 lower than Gwen. And John did everything.
Everything.
Gwen did nothing.
They had to walk for like 4 miles over a mountain to be able to get to fresh water, if that's when you want to call it that. It was just a trickle off a dank cave.
Yeah.
This little
dirt puddle.
Yep.
They're just sucking from nature's teat. Quick, put a leaf under it. It's like, dude, that's not going to get you very far.
Yeah. And they're able to get a third of a cup of water each after hiking for a day and a half. They get to the beach. They get to this front beach where they start setting up an actual camp on like day 2 of 21. And they start going, all right, we need to try and find some food, some protein.
Don't forget, as we're talking about all of this, they're naked.
They're naked.
Which adds nothing,
but
they're naked.
Yeah, so they're naked walking through. So
there's little pixels over their bits and their bobs.
Yeah, instead of the way nature intended with leaves, like the Garden of Eden.
Yeah.
It was CGI finest.
Yeah, it was CGI's pixels.
So they're on this beach. They're looking for food. They're looking for firewood. The only food they managed to get straight up in like the 21 days is one crab between them. And then there was like a little caption that popped up and like, one soldier crab is the equivalent in protein as one chicken wing. It's like, oh, okay.
Okay.
Interesting.
Take notes, KFC.
Yeah.
Get the new crab menu going.
Get some fucking soldier crab meat out there.
Yeah. It just runs sideways across your plate.
Oh, so whilst hunting for crabs, Gwen injures her toe. So John has to go find the firewood. He has to set up a shelter. He has to go hunting for food, get the water for them.
All the survival stuff John had covered.
Yeah.
And she was, what was she doing? Stoking the fire.
Stoking the fire to make sure it continued.
Fair division of labour.
Sure. I mean, you stub your toe. What are you going to do?
And John was just such a champ about all of it.
He was happy-go-lucky.
Yeah, Gwen kept saying, man, I couldn't have asked for a better partner. He's so good.
I couldn't tell. Like, I was actually amazed at how much energy he had. I was like, this he's clearly delirious from heat stroke because he was going, woo!
Yeah.
Oh, yeah! I love my partner.
Yeah.
I couldn't have asked for a better person. We got great chemistry.
She compliments me so well. Like, we're just this perfect dichotomy.
Yeah.
It's like, what, you do everything and she stokes the fire. Just this perfect kind of...
That is, like...
nucleus family.
Champion behavior. Just going, yeah, no, she was, like, couldn't be here without you.
Yeah.
Like,
he's given her water, his hard-earned water. Like, he is fucking just looking... He's carrying the team.
Yeah.
Well and truly.
And there was a certain point when they hadn't eaten that much for a few days and they were hiking up a mountain and, like, she starts to, like... She nearly falls over, has to sit down for a moment. And the narrator comes in with the most absurd line. You know what I'm about to read?
I remember, it's doctor voiceover.
The narrator just comes in probably like 3 times throughout the whole 45-minute episode, and he comes in and he's just like, Gwen is losing electrolytes, which her nerves need to tell her muscles to contract.
Yeah.
While she's walking, I'm like, that's an over-explanation that we didn't need.
Yeah.
We get it. She's dehydrated. She hasn't eaten.
Yeah.
To tell us that she needs electrolytes to make her muscles contract so she can walk, so she doesn't go into atrophy.
Yeah.
Relax, dude.
It's like you don't break down everything else in that detail.
You're really earning your $195 for this VO.
The water is dropping off the rock because what happens when rain comes out of the skies? It comes out of a cloud that's grey and it's photosynthesis.
And then it's naturally filtered through the cool rock fall.
Yeah, it's like, no, they just got water off the bottom of a rock.
Relax, dude.
Chill, bruh.
Yeah.
It's not a Powerade ad.
It was definitely a case of them trying to add drama to the show because at the end of the day,
nothing happened.
Nothing happened. And John and Gwen weren't giving us much as far as chemistry or banter.
No.
Like, they weren't like throwing out one-liners or anything. It was just literally like, we got to eat.
And this is why I'm not too worried about spending 80% of this episode of OTAT talking about not this show, because literally all that happens on the show is they get to the beach and then they set up camp. They get to the beach by day 2. And then 19 days, they've just built a hut and they just get crabs and they stoke the fire and they get firewood and they're just riding it out, because at day 21, they've won. If they make it to day 21 alive, they've won. They don't have to go to a quest or a task or get anything done. All they have to do is ride out the elements for 21 days.
Yeah.
So it's just them sitting in a hut
Yeah.
for 21 days. It's like, give them something to do.
And when I say what the show showed, all they ate over 21 days was they split one soldier crab and they split one tarantula.
That's it.
That's it. So by the end of it, they must have had like some military grade like protein bars beforehand, because like they both lost 26 pounds by the end of the show.
They were getting food from the producers.
Surely.
They had to be. Like, they lost a lot of weight, but you're not eating one crab and one tarantula over 3 weeks. So between 2.
Yeah.
Half a crab and half a tarantula.
And I remember saying this at the very start of the episode, that I felt like the clear difference between this and something like Alone, where Alone, you know it's real because, excuse me, you know it's real because everything that they film in Alone is filmed by the person surviving, the person who's setting up camp, who's surveying the area, getting their own food and water. In this, it's very man versus wild. You've probably got a producer, you've got 3 cameramen scoping them at all times, and then at the end of the take, they're like, all right, cut, we're going to the Tiki Lodge just around the cutting.
Yeah. I do not trust that this was entirely survivalist.
No.
Them on their own.
And it seemed like a cool concept. Like, I remember speaking to someone about it. They were like, "Oh,
Naked.
dude, I love Naked and Afraid. You got to check it out."
I bet I know who that is.
I don't think you do.
Okay.
You haven't met them.
Don't worry. We'll discuss after the show.
Was it John?
He keeps talking about surviving naked
Is
on our own.
he in your fucking in your 3rd spare bedroom getting waterboarded at the moment, naked and afraid?
Just getting bitten by midgies. Yeah, dude. She gets fucked up by midgies.
Oh, dude, it's honestly making my skin crawl thinking about the mosquitoes. They both like woke up looking like they got the worst case of chicken pox you've ever seen. Not only bites all over them, but like all of them like open wounds bleeding because they've been scratching the whole night.
Yeah, they were literally, it looked like scabies. It was that sound effect for a whole night. They're like, what do we do about the bugs? Oh, we'll build a fire. We don't have a lot. They couldn't get a fire going.
Yeah, the natural insect repellent.
That was the one part of the show where being naked actually affected it.
Oh, yeah.
They got more midgie bites because their skin was exposed.
That and them walking through the mountains where there was just prickles and sharp sticks and
Because there's no
stones.
shoes.
No, you're
Zero
naked.
shoes. Yeah, I just thought they would give them shoes.
No.
No, you're naked.
Do you get in the shower with shoes on?
No, I'm naked.
Did you come out of the womb with shoes on?
I was naked.
Exactly. And afraid.
Afraid, terrified.
Afraid you get ripped off by a removalist.
And look what happens.
And that your favourite comedian one day may not be up to scratch because he ruined his career.
I would trade my life right now for these naked and afraid guys' life. Oh, I would rather go through what they're going through than deal with John the Removalist.
You suck. This is the
Your brain wiring.
This is the second worst hot take I've ever heard after your first one 2 weeks ago. You know the dumbest thing about I'm going on a tee off tangent right now.
Go off, dude.
The dumbest thing about this show,
Please.
alone, prize $500,000 if you can survive. Survivor, you probably get a prize cash pool as well. Any other survival show, there's some sort of money incentive involved. What do you get if you survive 21 days naked with someone that you really would rather not know?
You get a hug.
You get a hug? You probably get malaria from the mosquitoes in Mexico.
Yeah, was there a cash prize?
No prize.
There was no cash prize.
Not that I can see. I mean, I gave it a quick Wikipedia.
And we didn't watch it till the end, but
when you're going on your 40-minute tangent, I did my research and not a prize.
I don't know when you did that. You were so engaged the whole time. I can't believe you had time.
There was not a prize in sight, which I was like, dude, why would you go on this show?
What's the point?
Yeah.
You know why? To prove to myself and to everyone around me that I can still do it.
Yeah, what did John say? As much as we're going to give credit to John, he was just like
Full credit to John.
Yeah, he
not
was
the
like,
removalist, the naked and afraid.
At the very end, they had to swim out to this lifeguard boat that saved them off the shore of this beach, and he was just like, "Man, society's gotten soft," and I was starting to become one of those guys who was soft in society, and I wanted to prove myself that I wasn't.
Yeah, that was his thing. He was like, men are weak now, and I don't want to be a weak man. And I felt myself becoming a pansy boy weak man. So I went and spent 21 days in Mexico to prove that I'm still tough.
Okay, dude.
Everyone's like, no one gives a fuck, dude.
You are going to have worse cancer than Norm Macdonald had after being your whole body exposed to that radiating sun.
Yeah, dude.
For 3 weeks straight.
He was so sunburned.
So sunburned.
That was another. There are a few elements that being naked affected them, but like he was just fucking red as a tomato.
Imagine getting sunburned where the sun doesn't shine.
Oh, at least you'd have a good tan.
Oh, it doesn't matter, man. You're peeling for months.
Imagine peeling. Yeah, your cock and balls are just fucking.
Yeah, dude.
Rubbing aloe vera over your schnob.
Yeah. Like I would have to like pull out after like 2 days and be like, nah.
I thought you were saying pull out or something else.
No, I would have to eject out of the show because it's just
My cock hurts. I'm going home.
My penis is peeling.
I got peely cock.
So
send me home,
Tom,
Jacob,
Mr. New Farm himself, Mr. Staunch the Removalist. Okay with CK.
Louis OK. Gonna change this name with a little OK symbol.
What would you rate Naked and Afraid? Presented to you by 9 Now.
Naked and Afraid gets, God, not much. I'd say it gets 4. I'm going to change that to 3.5.
Oh, okay, lower.
I didn't like it. It was just so bad. And I wouldn't recommend it to anyone.
Yep.
Naked and Afraid, because I can't in good stead help someone to go and watch this on my behalf. It would feel like a waste of time. Naked and Afraid gets 3.5 scratched off mosquito bites out of 10.
Yeah, I'm with you there that it's not something that I would recommend for someone. Halfway through, like start of the episode, we were like 10 minutes in, we're like, we're just going to watch half of this and then tell people we watch the full thing.
And we made it through to the end.
And honestly, no more fulfilled at the end than we would have been.
Nothing once they get to the beach, nothing changes.
No plot twist.
No.
The biggest...
No fights between them.
The biggest...
Just boring.
The biggest, like, turn in the show was her getting a stub toe.
Yeah.
So for that reason, I give Naked and Afraid 4 stub toes out of 10.
Nice. 3.5 and 4, averaging out to 3.75.
3.75, yeah.
About the amount of stars I'm going to give John on his Google review.
That is generous, considering
3.75 after all that.
That's a high rating.
That is high. It's too high. What a week to be back on the mic.
Glad to be back.
Thank you for putting up with my nonsense. Potaters, I hope you somehow made it through this. If you didn't, I understand.
They did.
We'll be back next week with actual content for you guys.
If you did make it this far, then you'll know the secret word is stubborn. If you comment stubborn on one of our posts, you get some sort of prize. We'll throw out something.
Why stubborn?
Because you're stubborn when it comes to the removalist situation.
I thought you meant this girl stubbing her toe.
No. Yeah, stubbing. No. Stubborn.
Take it either way. Stubborn or stubbing. Comment that. Yeah, comment that on YouTube or Insta. to prove that you made it all the way.
Exactly right.
That's
If you
a good
have
idea.
made it this far, we really do thank you for Mahatma Gandhi level patience. This is Dalai Lama level of zen to be able to listen to this for a full, who knows how long, but
An hour and a half.
thank you so much for joining us this week. If you did enjoy the show, share it with a friend, a mate, a colleague, co-worker, mum or dad. Give it a like on YouTube. Subscribe to our channel so you keep up to date with everything OTAT. Subscribe to our Instagram, and we will see you next time.
Bye-bye.